After running so many bosses and other high level areas, I decided to just relax and chill a little bit with some ancient tunnels. With this being a level 85 area and having not many cold immunes, I figured this would be perfect for my Blizzard Sorceress. If you would like to see my gear and what player settings these runs were performed on, I have it all listed in the description below. For our first drop on run 5, we finally find ourselves a pair of War Travs. It's funny, I found a Burr rune this latter season before I found my first pair of War Travs. 5 runs later, we find a pretty decent 7% Magic Find Small Charm. Quite a few runs later, on run 48, we find a unique Feral Claws, which will be Fire Lizard's Talons. Pretty decent for Wake of Fire Assassins, especially for the Season 4 ladder. 2 runs later, we find our first Skilling Grand Charm with 35 life. Unfortunately, it turns out to be a Shapeshifter Grand Charm. While doing these runs, Ancient Tunnels became terrorized, and on our first terrorized run, we find a Bone Hew, nearly perfect on the enhanced damage. 6 runs later, we managed to drop a unique Dusk Shroud, which will be Ormus Robes. One of my favorite items to identify, but we get unlucky with the skill roll. A handful of runs later, we find a unique Amulet, quick spin for good luck, and we get a Mahim Oak. Not very useful, but I'm just glad it's not a Nokozen relic. About 13 runs later, on run 91, we find a very decent small charm, but if this rolled with 20 life, we could have traded it for a high rune. One of the better items during these runs drops on run 135, which will be Arcane's Valor. Not a very useful item, but pretty rare. 21 runs later on run 21 runs later on run 156, we find maybe my 8th Reaper's Toll of this season, but I'm always happy to find a unique Thresher. On run 160, we finally find our first rune during these runs, which will be a Maul rune. Thankfully, by the end of this video, we end up finding a high rune. 21 runs later, I took a small break and forgot to start recording again, but we did manage to grab ourselves a near perfect Cerberus's Bite, just missing 17% off of bonus to attack rating. On run 210, we managed to drop another Grand Charm, which will be a +1 to Trap Sealer. We were on a bit of a dry streak, but got pretty lucky on run 240 when we opened a chest and grabbed ourselves our first unique ring. Big spin for good luck, and we identify a Manalt. Unlucky. And on our very next run, we find a unique Scourge, which will identify as Stormlash. A pretty interesting weapon, but not terribly useful. And for our final drop, thankfully, we find a low rune. Yes! Yes! These runs weren't that great, but having this drop made these runs a bit more worth it. While I did enjoy running the Ancient Tunnels, mostly because of how relaxing it was to run, I do feel like I got a bit unlucky, seeing as how the only real drop was the low rune and a couple Grand Charms. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate the support, and if you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe for more Diablo 2 and Diablo 4 videos. And if you like this video, check out this video here where I run the Chaos Sanctuary 250 times and probably have the most insane luck I've ever had. Dropping a Griffin's Eye, a Nightwings that I'm using on my Sorceress right now, and a lot of other goodies. As always, thank you all for watching. My name is Artos, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.